We're diving into a question that honestly gets to the heart of our daily lives. Is the food on your plate lying to you? We're about to pull back the curtain on a massive, hidden industry, and what you're about to hear might just change the way you shop for groceries forever.
It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer? Well, it reveals a pretty shocking truth. You see, food fraud is a multi-billion-dollar criminal enterprise that's hiding in plain sight. So today, we're going to break it all down. What it is, how it works, and what it really means for your health and your wallet. Let's get into it.
Seriously, just stop and think about that for a second. You go to the store, you pay a premium price for a specific product because you trust its quality, its origin, its safety. But what if, in reality, you've been sold a complete lie? And this isn't some made-up what-if scenario. As we're about to see, this is the reality of modern food fraud.
All right, so just how big of a problem are we talking about here? Well, the scale of this deception it's absolutely staggering. And it's all happening in the shadows of the very system that brings food to our tables.
Let's start with a number. 10%. According to forensic analysis, that's the estimated chunk of all commercially sold food around the world that's affected by fraud. To put that into perspective, that could mean 1 out of every 10 items you put in your shopping cart isn't what it claims to be. And that 10%, it adds up to a ton of money. I mean, the more conservative estimates put the cost around $10 to $15 billion a year. But some analyses suggest the true global cost could be as high as $40 billion annually. This isn't small-time stuff. It's a global criminal enterprise. And you know, this isn't exactly a new problem. Many of us will remember the huge horse meat scandal back in 2013. It all kicked off with one little discovery in Ireland and then just exploded across the entire continent. It ripped the lid off just how complex and murky our food supply chains are, and it was a massive wake-up call, showing just how easily a cheap ingredient can be passed off as a premium one. Okay, so how does this even happen? And maybe more importantly, why? To get to the bottom of that, we kind of have to think like a criminal. So let's take a look at their playbook. Well, criminologists actually use a pretty simple framework to understand this. It's called the fraud opportunity triangle. And the idea is that for a crime like this to happen, you need 3 specific things to all line up at the exact same time. It's like the perfect storm for criminal temptation. So, it all starts with motivation. And let's be real, that's almost always about pure profit. The money you can make swapping beef for something cheaper is just massive. But motivation isn't enough. You need an opportunity. And our modern supply chains are full of them. They're so long and complicated, creating all these perfect blind spots to hide a crime. The last piece of the puzzle is rationalization. That's where the fraudster tells themselves, oh, it's a victimless crime, or I'm just doing what I have to do to stay in business. When those 3 things align, fraud becomes almost inevitable. But here's the crucial point, and it's probably the most important thing we'll talk about today. This is not a victimless crime, not even close. While the goal might be money, the consequences can be a direct threat to your health and your safety. This quote really gets right to the core of the danger. The main reason they do it is for money, sure, but the fallout, the collateral damage, that lands squarely on us, the consumers. And believe me, the risks go way beyond just getting ripped off. This is where a financial crime turns into a direct health threat. Criminals will mix in undeclared allergens like soy or poultry, which can be deadly for some people. They use illegal, unsanitary slaughterhouses, which leads to contamination from bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. And in some of the most shocking cases, they've been caught using illegal chemicals just to make rotten meat look fresh. And it's not just a health risk. For anyone with religious dietary laws, like halal, this is a profound violation of trust. So with all these risks, how do we fight back? I know it sounds a little scary, but the good news is that technology and awareness are our best weapons in this fight. You know, in the past, testing for this stuff was slow, it was expensive, and it often just couldn't keep up, especially with processed foods. But today, it's a whole new ballgame. We have rapid DNA testing that can identify a species in hours instead of weeks. There are new fields like proteomics that can find things even DNA tests might miss. And now, investigators are even using AI for something called horizon scanning, basically analyzing global data to predict where fraud is likely to happen next and stop it before it even reaches the shelf. So, while the experts are fighting this on a global scale, you have real power as a shopper. Here are a few golden rules. First, look for trusted, third-party certification marks on the packaging. Second, always question the price.
If a deal on some premium cut of meat seems way too good to be true, it probably is. Third, understand what the labels actually mean. And finally, if you suspect something is wrong, report it. Your National Food Safety Agency has teams waiting for exactly these kinds of tips.
Look, the fight for honest food is a constant battle, and staying informed is your single best defense. If this breakdown helped you understand the risks, make sure you like and subscribe. That way you'll never miss another crucial update that could affect your family's safety.
And so, we'll leave you with this one question to think about. As our technology gets smarter, so do the criminals. It just proves that constant vigilance, from the regulators, from the industry, and most importantly from us as consumers, is the only way we can be sure about what's actually on our plates. Thanks for joining us.